Hello, my name is Ertunga, and I'm a tour guide in Turkey and tour operator and the owner of the Felicity Travel. So today my guest is Nilesh Jambuka. So I want to introduce him to you. Yeah.
Hi.
So hello Nilesh.
Hi.
Welcome to Turkey. So I would like to introduce you to my guest.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
what you feel here?
Right. First of all, thanks for the introduction, and I just want to say that from day one since we landed here and met you at the airport, felt tremendously welcomed.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. Just by having our chat conversation on WhatsApp, and then looking at you at the airport in person,
Right.
made all of us as a family feel very, very comfortable. That we know someone personally.
From that country,
yeah,
right?
from that, not as just a tour guide or an agency, but someone, like a friend.
Thank you.
So that's what we felt the first time that when we landed and saw you. That was really, really great. And they say that the place is made by people.
Yeah.
And that's what Turkey is all about, and especially the places we went, Istanbul or Cappadocia or Kusadasi or the 7 churches. It's the people that we were very taken by, very friendly. Whether it's food or yourself or the bus driver or anyone we went, so friendly, and that's really the icing on the cake for me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So you're from England,
Yes,
right?
that's correct. So originally, I'm born and brought up in India, in Mumbai, but then now I live in England with my family.
Okay.
And my parents come and visit me in England from Mumbai every year for a few months to stay with the grandchildren.
Okay.
And we go to India for Christmas sometimes. We did this trip to Israel a few years ago, but we always had this in our mind to come to Turkey to visit the 7 churches, and which is why we did this trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanted to visit the 7 churches,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you're familiar with the churches and the Bible,
Correct,
of course,
correct.
before you visit there.
Correct.
Now, we are in the pandemic time,
Yeah.
because there is not easy to travel.
No, absolutely
during
not.
this time.
Absolutely not.
So you're not scared to travel to another country, first of all.
Not really. I mean, I must be honest, I did my research.
Okay.
And I always kept an eye on the government website.
Okay.
And Turkey was always on the low risk when I started searching, which was fantastic. And we had other choices, but we always stick to Turkey because of the way this country has handled the pandemic. And the second thing is that because 7 churches is here, our decision was firm. So, but we skipped other parts of the world, like Greece, for example, or America, because they were on the top list. But thankfully, the way Turkey has handled the situation has made us feel more comfortable to make our decision firm to come here. So that's why we came here.
So you decided to come to Turkey for the biblical tour.
Yes.
Did you know that Turkey is important not only for 7 churches, but there are other biblical sites?
Yeah, I mean.
But so before you travel,
Yeah.
did you know about Turkey, about the biblical point of view?
So from the biblical point of view, we only had so much knowledge about the 7 churches. But when we traveled each church, from Ephesus to Smyrna and Thyateira and Philadelphia and Pergamon, the other stories outside the Bible,
Okay.
the history
Exactly.
and the things that you explain, which connected with the churches, how the stories outside the Bible and inside the Bible, when you combine, and when you learn that was truly mesmerizing. Truly, information was like flowing at a really great rate into the head, and learning was so fast.
Okay.
Fantastic learning tour, very educational.
So what else you would like to add about the 7 churches generally?
Well, generally about the 7 churches, I would say that if you don't visit 7 churches in Turkey, if you're doing any other biblical tour around the world, for example, Israel or Palestine or Bethlehem or Egypt or Jordan, if you don't do this, your journey is incomplete.
Okay.
Completely incomplete. I mean, you have to be here, you have to see these 7 churches, and then you see the Bible come alive.
All right. Okay.
That's what I felt. The Bible come alive. And when you see the ruins of the temples of Artemis, or the ruins of the churches, the ruins of the synagogue, the Agora market, the library in Ephesus, you live in that times.
Yes.
When I went to that building, I felt I'm living in that time, and that's why it is so special.
So we started our trip from Istanbul.
Yes.
Like
yes.
many our tours start from
Absolutely.
Istanbul because it's easier to fly to Istanbul.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then, what do you think about Istanbul? Like,
Beautiful place. I mean, it is. I have no words. I mean, the moment we landed and the moment we stepped out, went into the hotel, the streets, the history attached to the modern city.
Yes. Sometimes you feel like you're in India, or
there was
shops.
Of course, I mean, because of the shops on the street, it is so much like Mumbai.
Okay.
And the food. I mean, there's no words for the food. It's fantastic. We loved every bit. But the most beautiful thing about Istanbul was you have this great city that the whole world knows about.
Okay.
But also it is like 50% history, 50% modern, and together it makes Istanbul so beautiful.
So you mentioned about food.
Yeah.
Not only in Istanbul, I think whole Turkey.
Yeah.
So Indian people, they're a little picky about the food.
Yes,
right?
they are. Yeah, they
prefer their own.
I know.
Cuisine.
Yeah.
So, did you feel any difficulty with Turkish food?
Absolutely not. Because the thing is, my philosophy is that if you are going to a place, a foreign place, and if you don't try their food, then your trip is incomplete. Because your own food you can have it at home, or other restaurants. But when you go to a place like this, so I tried not just the doner, which is famous in London or England, really known food, very top one Turkish restaurants do great donors in there, and kofte and kebabs. But over here, I had different variety of meat, like different sausages and different koftes and lamb and beef and chicken. It was just fantastic, beautiful.
So we visited Hagia Sophia.
Yes.
It was Hagia Sophia, I think 2 months ago. It's converted into a mosque again.
Yeah, we read about that. Yeah.
Yes. Now we can still see the mosaics.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can still see the whole church and the mosaics in Hagia Sophia. So, would you like to say something about Hagia Sophia, Topkapı?
Yeah.
And the places that we visited in Istanbul?
Absolutely. I mean, Hagia Sophia is the must-see place. I would say, if I was able to explain to any person or any family who is not familiar with Istanbul or with the history of Istanbul, I would say this is the first place to learn more about, because Hagia Sophia is not just the building or the first church, as we discussed, that was built for the early Christians, but the architecture. I was shocked and I was surprised, the engineering marvel at that time, thousands of years ago, 1400 years ago, that the building is standing without pillars.
Yes, the dome, right?
Yeah, the dome is huge, without the pillars in the middle.
Yes.
The whole weight was supported by the walls on the side.
Exactly. Yes.
And yet they can make the dome stand there for years and years and years, and not just the construction, but the painting inside.
Yes.
The 4 angels, and then all the inscriptions on the wall, and I know the mosaic. Obviously, I think they have actually put carpet now.
Yes.
But the story behind it, the grand gate where they used to enter, is just absolutely beautiful. absolutely beautiful. And the other important thing, what I liked about this church was that the paths, the doors, the windows, and the tiles were bought from different parts of the world.
Exactly.
Different part of the world, and that's what makes it so special.
Right.
Very, very beautiful.
And then actually our itinerary was a little tiring.
Yes,
Because we
it
had
was.
limited time, but that's okay. We do it everything.
Yeah, we covered everything.
We covered
absolutely.
everything because we had one day in Istanbul.
Yes.
So we saw the highlights of the city.
Yeah.
And then next morning, we had an early flight to Cappadocia.
Correct.
So I told you, like when you come to Turkey, I think you must see Cappadocia.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be a full trip to Cappadocia.
Yeah.
So we spent our one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Cappadocia.
Absolutely.
Is it worth it for that?
Speechless. I mean, it's you cannot come to Turkey without visiting Cappadocia. I initially thought I'll skip that, but then I thought, you know what, we are going there. We should do that. At least spend a day. And I think I would have regretted if I didn't do that. You know, it's the best decision to go to Cappadocia. The planning, obviously, early morning flight. Mm-hmm. We spent the whole day over there, and then what we saw there as the open air, museum,
right?
the churches, it is just absolutely, you cannot miss it for the world. You have to see it. How the early Christians, they carved themselves into those volcanic ashes.
Right.
Yeah, you can dig it in, make different rooms, not just on the ground floor, but the first floor that you can go up and underground city, and it's just how they lived there. To know, and not just that, but they left a whole lot of painting inside, the drawings, the carving inside, to leave a mark, to tell the story about their life, and even Jesus's life. It is incredible to know. My whole family, even my son, who's only 14, when I asked him what is your best part, he goes Cappadocia.
Okay. So it's a interesting place for the children as well.
Very for the children, absolutely.
Because there are many hidden.
Yes. I mean, you saw it. My son and my daughter, they were just running around through the tunnels, and they just absolutely enjoyed it.
Then from Cappadocia,
yes,
we flew to Izmir airport.
Yes.
And then it was late evening.
It was quite late, yes.
So we drove about 1 hour to our hotel in Kuşadası.
Yes.
Then next day we visited one of the 7 churches.
Yes.
In Revelation. So it was Ephesus.
Ephesus, correct.
So the first church.
Yeah. I mean, what can I say? This was the main part.
Yes.
As well of the tour, that this is what we wanted to inscribe on our mind, that after finishing our Israel tour in a few years ago, we wanted to complete our tour with this now comes after seeing beautiful Istanbul, amazing Cappadocia. Now comes the 7 churches.
Yes.
And then when we go to Ephesus, and you just take the first look at the whole city in front of your eyes, and that beautiful library.
Okay.
Oh my God, it was just breathtaking. I mean, it is the story behind it, the Agora market, and as you walk through the streets where you go take a turn towards the library and look around the place, it is just, you cannot miss it. You cannot miss it when you come here.
So we had all day in Ephesus actually.
Yes.
We visited the house of
Mary. Yeah.
Yes. Scholars believe that she lived her last years or for a while in that house.
Yeah.
We don't know, but at least it's a historical place.
It's a historical place, very, very definitely not to miss again. It has its own beautiful story. It is well preserved.
Exactly.
Very well preserved, and clean, very clean, and definitely worth a visit. You should see the house of Mary when you go there.
And then we visited Apostle John's Basilica.
Tomb,
tomb,
yeah.
And then we saw that.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's also ruins, but...
it also ruins, but the main thing is that you actually get to see, if not the actual tomb, but the memorial
That's true.
Of the Apostle John, and the ruins around that, pillars still standing around it, and obviously again it's one of those historic sites you cannot miss. If you are in Turkey to see the 7 churches, how can you miss Apostle John's tomb and memorial?
We visited 3 churches, right? First one, early in the morning, we visited Smyrna,
Correct.
the church. Today, Izmir, because
Correct.
the modern
Correct.
city is called Izmir.
Correct.
So what do you say about Smyrna?
I mean, again, the church of suffering, right? I mean, is the story that attached to that actual community. And then you attach that story with the ruins that you see.
Okay.
And the letter that was sent to them, which talks about and relates to their life. It's not just you go and see the ruins.
The crown of the city.
The crown of the city, but at the same time, you understand the letters precisely only when you explain to us what actually this community went through and what actually happened. Why are the crown of the city, and how the God identified Himself. Exactly. What He told them they're good at, and what is the warning, and basically it's you put that together, and the whole church of Smyrna and the whole church and the whole community just comes alive to you. You just understand all that, which is the best part.
So from Smyrna, it's about 1 hour driving distance.
Yeah.
To the next stop, Thyateira.
Yes.
Today, there is not much to see from the ancient
not
city.
much. Yeah.
We saw a church there.
Yeah.
But again, it is important to visit.
Absolutely.
Although there is not much to see.
Yeah.
But there's still some things.
I mean, even if the ruins are not as great as the other churches that we saw. For example, the 2 smallest one were Philadelphia and Thyateira.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they are 2 small, but again, they are the most important part of the whole 7 churches that the letters were sent.
And the longest letter.
And exactly. So it is still, because again, going to these places, whatever ruins are left, you see it with your own eyes. And then relate to the story inside the Bible with the letter, and outside the Bible with the history.
Right.
It makes a complete visit, basically.
So from Thyateira, about 1 hour more driving. This city is worth seeing, like Pergamon.
Yes. Oh my God, beautiful! The way we drove on the hilltop. I mean, very, very high, and then as we drove there, and we just entered the actual ruins, and the view from the top of the whole Pergamon city was breathtaking.
The temple on the top, like
beautiful. I mean, you could see the walls that you showed us, the old and the new.
Right.
You could identify which one is the latest, which one is the old one, and then you walk across and you see the pillars again. And I think there was on the left side, which was facing the city near the cliff, was again a little bit of agora. We still had agora, and obviously some more beautiful pillars, beautiful design from the olden times. Beautiful. You cannot miss Pergamon.
So the other day, yesterday actually, and other 3 churches we saw.
Yes.
And we started from Kuşadası to first church is
Sardis.
It's about 1 hour 30 minutes.
Yes, absolutely.
But Sardis is also well preserved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's probably
Artemis Temple.
Artemis Temple, but at the same time, the excavation work, as you can see, still it is not finished yet. But whatever is already there, the Artemis Temple and the ruins and everything, you can still relate that what actually happened by just talking about the place. You can just see that how people at that time would have survived the whatever conflicts that might have happened in the area, and the ruins that are still there. Again, every single church, as you mentioned, what you did quite nicely, and what I like about all this, if I talk any of the church, was reading the 7 letters
Yes.
from the Bible at the site, and then going through those 5 points of identification. Yeah, and then you have the what you call the promises, and then you have the warning, and then
Foundation,
the
promise.
yeah, and then you connect that with the history which is not there in the Bible, because that history is so important if you really want to understand why God or the letters was talking about a specific warning to them, or a specific identification to them, or a specific promise to them that was all related to the actual history. Like for example, if we go now on the after Philadelphia, Laodicea, yeah, which was the most strategic point
Exactly. Yeah.
of all the churches, where
Trading city.
the trading city, and they became very rich very quickly because people used to stop there with the caravans when they moved from other churches to other churches. That was the hub, if you like, or the center point.
Yes.
Now basically God talks about a lukewarm church, and there is a reason for that,
Right.
because of the hot water spring that you showed us.
Yes.
And then but we didn't know about the hot water spring until you explained to them. Why is God talking about lukewarm? So that's what every single church made sense when you explain the history outside the Bible.
Thank you, Ilash. I hope to meet you again.
No, thank you for all your help and showing us around. It was really, really, really. Thank you very much.